Ladies and gentlemen, the next will be DaQuan Lawrence from Howard University. DaQuan?
Good afternoon. Thank you, panelists, member states, delegates, and especially our ancestors who are responsible for who we are today. As a former foster care youth who was raised in that system by an orphan mother who is now a PhD candidate at Howard University, I can personally attest to the benefits of formal and informal education. I would firstly like to say thank you, delegates and member state South Africa, for bringing up Nelson Mandela. However, I would like to evoke Robert Sobukwe, who once said that an unjust law cannot be applied justly, and I think that we should refer to that when we think about the dual standards and contradictions within international law and all forms of law all over the world. With that being said, quickly, we have somewhat of a conundrum as governments that have proven to be capitalistic, imperialistic, and colonialist have overwhelming influence over both the United Nations and this permanent forum. These governments have a responsibility or the privilege of selecting representatives of the forum, which I recommend should include processes that require civil society approval after the nomination of such individuals. Beyond these ever-present issues and the consequential isms that are produced by states and multinational institutions, such as capitalism, racism, sexism, and the like, I think it is very important that their derivatives that are also perpetuated, such as sexism, racism, and classism, as well as all forms of xenophobia, should be addressed via education. That said, these institutional and systematic issues are legitimized by people despite our ideology, religion, class, gender, and educational background. It is therefore critical that people of all nations, representatives and delegates of said nations, and especially the UN, actively, arduously, and transparently work to decolonize the aforementioned social, political, economic systems. Speaking plainly, we now perpetuate the issues that we're supposedly working to eradicate. This is problematic and contradictory, to say the least. That being said, taken into account, I challenge us to not solely be satisfied with our inclusion and presence at this forum and to recognize the factors that we have long recognized in previous decades and centuries. I recommend, in conclusion, I recommend that the PFAB member states and delegates separately and collectively work to establish a youth representative and educational mechanisms that can inform and educate their respective youth around the world, and that nations that have benefited from colonialism and the transatlantic slave trade, such as Britain, France, and the United States, Portugal, and Spain, and others that were present at the Berlin Conference of 1884-85, are also held responsibility to appropriate sufficient funds to give to educational repertory justice initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, DaQuan. Thank you.